Just had a very interesting conversation around HGH and the secretagogues, things like MK677, CJC, cipamerone, epimorone, et cetera, as well as the derivatives of HGH, things like IGF-1, LR3, DAS, MGF, PEG, MGF, things along those lines, versus anabolics, right? So in a traditional, say, anabolic cycle, old school would be something like testosterone, and then you'd add in a DHT compound, and then you'd add in a 19-NOR compound. Today, you might do testosterone, add in one or both of those, like a DHT or 19-NOR, and then also utilize a SARM potentially, or not use a SARM, or lower the doses of those and add in a SARM potentially. And the side effect profile of something like that to gain a certain amount of muscle versus the side effect profile of having just a TRT dose of testosterone, say 200 mg of testosterone a week, with a higher amount of HGH, utilizing an analog of GnRH, so something like CJC, even GnRH, cimarron, tesamorelin, etc. So using a higher dose of that, because that's getting your pituitary to actually produce HGH, adding in something like a ghrelin agonist, epimorelin, MK677, hexarelin, etc., because that's also synergistic with the analog of GnRH to increasing HGH, and adding in IGF-1 LR3, not 7 days a week, but maybe just only on training days. And then I haven't seen the data myself, but some people that I trust have talked about how PEG MGF, which is a derivative of IGF-1, has, and the PEG is just MGF, like with an extended half-life, where that has a effect on increasing the sensitivity of the IGF-1 receptor. So IGF-1 running on days that are training, IGF-1 LR3, because it's like one of the most powerful anabolic peptides there is, if not the most, right? And then adding in PEG on non-training days to help resensitize the IGF-1 receptors. And so where is this fly coming from? Something like that, where you might take elevated doses of all those things of like what would be normal, but if you use that plus a TRT dose versus just using high levels of, I'm talking like what a traditional type of cycle would be. I don't think I've ever done something like this. Maybe when I was 17, I didn't know what I was doing. I did, but other than that, I've never taken a dose that's like a gram a week, because in a traditional bodybuilding, muscle building cycle where you have testosterone, DHT plus 19-NOR on there, you might say do 300 to 500 of testosterone, say 300 to 600 of DECA. You might add in an oral that's 20 to 50 milligrams a day. So the total milligram load, that's the aggregation of each compound in terms of milligrams for the week, is probably north of a gram for a lot of people who do that kind of stuff. So you have side effects related to that, whether it's estrogen or prolactin or DHT, like related to sex drive or sleep or these kinds of things, is the side effect profile of that versus what I was talking about with the HGH greater, right? Because we know the anabolic side can have the effect on enlarging the left ventricle or heart-related issues. I just saw something the other day from the anabolic doc where he was talking about how there was, I think, a study out of France or something where they showed that super physiological levels of anabolics has the effect on the arteries in a negative way. I don't remember what it was, but that's what I was getting from what his post was and reading the abstract of what was posted. So is that more risky from a side effect standpoint than going super physiological levels on HGH, the analogs of GnRH, which increase HGH, or ghrelin mimickers, like agonists, like the MK677, epimorolin, etc., and adding in derivatives like the IGF-1 and the PEG, etc. Which do you think is more risky? Not only which do you think is more risky, but why you think it is more risky? Let me know down below in the comments. Also, you can check out the sponsor.